Here's the poem. There's a hole in my pocket. There's a hole in my sweater. There's a hole in my jeans. It can be fixed, because I have the means. But the hole in my heart, you made when you died, cannot be fixed. I know, as I've tried. We've been married, for at least 10 years already. But then when you actually, back in April 16, 2005, we get up here and you're actually in front of everybody, declare your love. It's like, there was something different, like, you really have to do it. And then it was the same thing with, I always loved kids. But there was not like a rush, right after you get married, then everyone's like, so when are you having kids? And I don't know, we were finally ready, and you, I don't know, you just expect everything's gonna go fine, because everything's gone fine our whole lives. We never really had major tragedies. And everything, has gone so well. And then, when you find out you're pregnant, that's a little, you're like, you've been trying for a while, so you're like, and you're expecting everyone gets pregnant when you try. So, but then it actually happens, and it's like a little switch goes on in your head. It's like, it's real, it's really like, beforehand you're like, well, until the baby comes out, it's like, it's just a growing bunch of cells in the womb or something. But it's like, as soon as you know it's in there, it's like, it's a real person. and we were, that was another kind of point in our lives. And then you think you kind of understand it, like, all your friends who have kids, and you're like, and your parents, but not until like at 12 p.m. on March 9th when he actually comes out. It's like, it's really happened, until it really, really happens. That's when you finally get it. It's the whole, like, you think, you've seen so many movies and you've met so many people and everything. You've been in baby showers and you've met babies and you played with them and you love them. And you think, it's still, there's an extra thing when it actually happens to you. And then, it's another, like, I don't know, it's like there's a phase in your life, a new phase, and then a new phase when you become parents. And then the same day, like 12 hours later, it was so soon. It was like, you think you know what it's like when somebody dies that you love. And, you've known, like grandparents and uncle. I mean, you've gone through it, but it has never been a tragedy. People have died, but it's never been a tragedy. And so it was like another one of those things where even like he was laying on my chest, after it had been like 9 hours since he was born, and he had been making noise the whole time, but we just thought it was just normal. And he finally like had started to calm down. Calm down on our chest, and we had been holding him. I was like, maybe if I put him on my chest, and with his chest down and his head to the side, it might be, relaxing to be able to hear my heartbeat or something. And it did, he stopped making the noise, and it was, if you're like paranoid, like, at least with the noise, he's breathing, but there was no indication of anything wrong. And he would, but I was starting to just like check on it, and every once in a while he would kind of like move or twitch a little, so I figured he was fine. And then we moved him to the bassinet because we were trying to go to sleep, and that's when something wasn't right. He wasn't moving really. I mean, he was a really deep sleeper, and there was a little bit of blood on his finger and his nose. And it's like right there, it's like you're starting to feel what it's like to have a tragedy, but it's not. There's a part of your brain that's all rational, and then there's the part that you just can't fool. It's like, well, he's not dead, You're thinking like, I don't know, it's not looking good. You call 911, and they're giving you the CPR, and it's not looking good, but you're still like, it's not official or something, And then you go to the common base, you go to the hospital, and you're going to the, you're checking him in. We hadn't really, between like Wren early on as a name, but I was like, I don't know. It's okay, we can figure that out. We don't need to come up with a name right away. And so we were kind of, Lulu had been calling him Baby Jones, which was a good name. So we were going to call him Jones, last name. And then one time she accidentally called him Baby Josh because it's close to Jones. we could call him Baby Josh. Just for fun. And we didn't really have a name, a baby Wren. And then when he was born, I was like, if you want to call him Wren, I don't care. Yeah, that sounds great. But we were still like maybe, we were like maybe Wren. We didn't really have an official name, but checking into the hospital, they were like, what's your son's name? And I was like, he has to have a name. We said Wren, and they were filling out the paperwork. Some police officers asked us some questions, and then a nurse came over, and her eyes were red. And that like part of your, your heart, your brain, part of your brain that is your heart, is starting to go like, it's really happening. And the nurse is like, maybe we can go to a room